Okay, I want to show you how to take the measurements and where to take the measurements for you guys that are getting a prototype coat, because that's really important. What I'm going to do is start at the center of the chest, okay, just below the throat, at the breastbone, just below the throat, and come around to what length I want this coat to be. So for example, this dog would be 12 and a half. Okay. If you don't have a soft measure, you can use your leash and then compare it to a tape measure. I recommend not using a crinkly one because it doesn't bend or fold correctly. So use a soft leash or something. That will give you that first measurement. Then the second measurement that we need is you can just take that tape measure, just angle it up and around from that spot right here to the base of the neck at the top of the withers, okay, right in there. You can just, that's where the neck is coming into the shoulders and meeting right there. So on this dog, that would be 6 inches, okay? The third measurement that we're looking for is from that same spot at the base of the neck to what would be the top of the tail, okay? So that's going to be right at 8 inches, okay? So that will give you that next measurement. That's the third measurement. The fourth measurement is coming around from that same spot, and that tells us what we want the hang length to be. And the hang length is, again, goes from that spot at the base of the neck to how far down do I want it to be. Do I want it to be below the elbow? We're relying on you to give us those measurements so we know what it's going to be, okay? So that is the fourth measurement. Then the fifth measurement is just moving back here above the hip, right at the top of the hip. And what do I want that to be? Okay, dogs are constructed differently. So again, those two really give us the shape of the dog that we're trying to map out here. So right at the top of the hip to what you want that hang length to be. Okay, and that's number 5. And then number 6 is from that spot again to right at mid-back, okay? So that would be 3 inches. So that would be 3 inches on this dog, mid-back. That's right at the xiphoid, right above the xiphoid. You can take a line and draw it straight through. Generally, that's mid-back for most dogs, okay? It's where the rib cage separates into the waist, okay? So that is going to be number 6. Number 7 is the girth at the xiphoid. So again, what is the girth measurement here at the xiphoid? Okay, so I want to know what that is. It is adjustable, so depending on what you're doing, it's not a fixed measurement. This is one of the few that is not a fixed measurement because the girth is adjustable. You know, summer weight, winter weight, etc., etc. Then we have one more measurement, which is for male dogs. And this is the trickier, but kind of, if you take from where you took that center measurement here at the above the xiphoid, this measurement here, and then you take the measurement at the hip, if you go about midway, you will generally find for male dogs, that's about where the PP starts. You know, some's back a little further, some is up. But if you do right about there, what I need is the hang length. And that depends on your male dogs. You guys who have male dogs, you know, are they energetic peers? Are they, you know, lazy peers? How do they pee? Do they lift their leg up over the body, or do they barely lift their leg? That's going to be important because we don't want them peeing on the coat. So for energetic peers, I suggested it be a little bit shorter. You know, just about even with the bottom of the belly. If they're less energetic, you can go a touch below, but I wouldn't go too far below. But what that does is that allows us to cut in the hourglass shape for the male dogs. And then this is about what your harness is going to look like on the dog. We have to put, yours will be fixed here in the front. Matilda needs an opening because she doesn't like anything going over her head because she has big bat ears. And she won't move them for me. So, but there's the coat. There's the shape. That's where the girth sits. You can see, well back from the shoulders, well back from the elbows. Gives the dog plenty of room. It's at their natural bend point. So it's not going to restrict them or, you know, tighten in on the rib cage. It's going to sit nice and comfortably back. And then, but the harness is going to, I mean, the Snuggy's going to just slide right over the head and onto the dog. You've got a D-ring built in, so you can go take your dog for a walk, have a nice time. It is not waterproof. The Snuggy is fleece. We are doing a waterproof working coat, but that will come out later. Right now we're calling this the Snuggy because somebody's going to come up with a really cool name. We're just waiting to see what it's going to be. We do an inset for the tail. It's a standard cut. We do an inch for the little guys and the littles. And then we do an 1.5 inches for the bigger guys. So when we make that cut, we're just looking at where that tail sets in. Because all of our measurements really key off of this. Because what's important is when the dog puts their head down, okay, we don't want this binding into the throat. And conversely, when their head is up, we don't want this binding up here at the back of the neck. So what that allows it to do is to follow the dog's natural neck angle. And Matilda has a really good way you can almost see. You can see that neck angle just comes right in like that. And we really want to follow that, okay? So it's really from the wither just to the top of the breastbone right there, okay? That's the angle we really want to follow for her. It is fabric and it is, you know, soft and mushy. So 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch is not a big deal. You know, measure to the 1/2 inch is fine. And then, but what that really allows your dog to do is to be comfy, to curl up and wear the coat a lot. Because my dogs have been wearing their coats nonstop and they love it. But it's going to have a buckle on it. And then, you know, you can just flip it on, flip it off, throw it in the washing machine. We use a nice fleece. We get the anti-pill fleece. So you shouldn't have issues with having to, you know, shave the fleece. It will wash up nicely and should last for a long time. And there is the coat and how to measure. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know.